Yes, hello there, this is Seriously Speaking. My name is Adesuwa Onyenokwe. As you can see, I'm on set with Omotola Jalade Ekene, the person that you can recognize just by calling one name. If you say Omotola, they recognize her. If you say Omotola Jalade Ekene, they recognize her, you know, Monica. But on the show today, we're talking about Omotola 4.0. Now, I find it interesting, we decided that in this month of love, we should have one entertainer who will capture the whole essence of love, both for self and for others. And she came to mind instantly because TW Magazine had done a cover on her. And I'm like, it should be Omotola. I didn't give her up to 24 hours to make up her mind. And I said she must be on the show. Welcome, it's Seriously Speaking. We'll be back shortly with Omotola, one-on-one on Seriously Speaking. Yes, welcome back. Omotola is on set. And the first question I'm going to ask her is one thing a lot of people ask me. Now only you won. You got married early. You have 4 kids who are successful. You're a successful actress. You are a successful singer. Only you want Naikom. Naikom this world.
Only you come.
You know, welcome to Seriously Speaking.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
I wonder though, when you decided to celebrate your 40th, right? What's something you always thought about? What did you try to prove to others by doing it differently? You had one whole week of celebration. What's about a week?
5 days. I didn't actually want a party. I didn't want a party. I just wanted to elope, go somewhere, some nice island or something, and put my legs up. And some of my very wicked friends, like Adebola and the rest of them, talked me into doing something here. They're like, no, you can't do that. You know, I mean, this is some sort of iconic age, and people would expect, you know, to see something from you. And then they knew how to get me, which is, why don't you just do something...
For your activism.
Yeah, it was like, why don't you do something that has to do with your activism, you know, just a statement or something. And then so I started to think about it. I was like, okay, so what am I going to do at this time? What am I feeling like and everything? And then we came up with different topics. At first, it was about the NYSC plight, you know, and a lot of people don't know that a lot of youth coppers have actually died. And when we started to do our research, the statistics were actually very staggering. Some of them never make the news. I remember one about a pregnant woman who actually died, you know, because she was posted very far away in some remote place that was far away from where they could get health care or something of that nature. And she was pregnant, you know. So these were the issues that we wanted to actually bring to light and everything. But somehow, I guess my bigger picture thing and all of that took over. And I was pulled more towards mental slavery because it's a bigger issue and it's a deeper issue that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. So that was how things started. And
because you had this 5-day thing, you started, first of all, with the give back.
Yeah, which is with, so that's Give and Let Give. And that's something I do every year, and I hadn't done it in a while. And so everybody thought, oh, why don't you do it? This was last year, December, and I said, oh, I'll do it maybe towards my birthday period. So it was a no-brainer that it should come at this time. And so we thought about doing that, and that was the first thing I wanted to do on my birthday, which is on the 7th of February.
And then the couples thing.
Yeah, the couples thing was just, I think the couples thing was kind of like a feeler because eventually when we now decided what we wanted to do with the activism and then we knew, you know, my birthday was on a Wednesday, which is on 7th, and then somehow we knew that we wanted to go to Badagry and then do the symposium, which was going to be on Friday or something. And then somehow I never liked to do parties on Saturday. So the party idea had come up somewhere. Eventually, I agreed to do that, and I knew I was going to do that on a Sunday. So the whole thing was, do we start one day, rest, come back? And I know myself, if I rest, that's it. That's it. So I'm like, you know what? I can't rest. We better keep going.
Find something to do.
We better keep going. And so it was natural that the idea came up that, why don't you do everything that has to do with your brand? You know, something that you feel connected to. And so the couples retreat was the next thing everybody thought was a good idea. And then, yeah. Yeah,
but everybody thought it was a good idea because you're one of the couples in entertainment that you're 23 years in marriage now.
Yeah.
And you married pretty early, under 20. And I wonder, what would, if you had married a guy who didn't let you still get the education that you wanted to get and get your career?
I would have left. It's really not that hard. But, you know, we already had all that discussion before we got married.
Even at that age, you had that kind of...
Yes, I wrote down a lot of my dreams at age 12, 13, 14, 15. By age 15, I had written out a lot of everything I am doing today. So when I met him, I met him when I was 16. You
had become born again. You met him in church or something like that?
I met him in church, yes. I met him in church through his sister. So I was pretty much 16, but I looked like I was 21 or 22 or something.
Look the same way.
I was very mature. I knew what I wanted. And so when I met him, we were just friends. I was friends with his sister, his older sister, and she introduced us. And he wasn't even living in Nigeria, so he would just come every now and then. He knew about my family, so he would come around. So it was just because his other siblings were already friends. So he just, blended in. He was just a friend, really. And for him, he said when I turned 18, that's when he felt like, okay.
It's time to, this girl is saying.
Let's leave the friend zone or something. But so it was pretty much, I can't even say we really dated or courted or, or something in the regular way, because we're just friends. Just that kind of person.
So that's something to say. You were friends first before you took it that way.
Yes, of course.
But like I said, you knew what you wanted and you went for it.
Yes, I did.
At 16, you already knew all the things on your bucket list.
Yes.
So when you turned 40, there were still some things you had to take away. Was being a mother and being a musician and being an actress, which one was top on the list?
I didn't really seek out to be a mother. I didn't even seek out marriage. I didn't even think I was a marriageable type.
Mom said
my
so.
mom
You have
always
to
said
read
so.
Today's Woman to find out the details of that, actually.
So that was not something that was in my head anyway. But I've always wanted to be an activist. I've always wanted to be. I've been an activist since I was a child. So I've always...
In fact, I have to tell people, the one interview we had with Omotola, she talked about how you will cry to get your own way. You will insist on your way.
I will throw tantrums. I will do anything to make sure I would
when
stop.
Somebody's right.
Yeah, I will stop traffic. I will do anything. I was that vicious. And I've been doing it since I was, as long as I can remember, since I was little. Even some stories were told to me of things I'd done. I was like, really? So I've always thought I was going to do something in that line. So at some point, I thought I was going to be a lawyer because everybody used to say I could argue a dead man to life.
You played lawyer in Alter Ego. Was that you living your life in the Alter Ego
I think,
movie?
yeah, somewhat. So that, and then entertainment-wise, I always thought first I would be a singer, not an actor. I always saw myself on stage. I love to perform. And so for me, that was what I thought would be my first, if I was going to go that route, that would be my introduction to entertainment.
But acting happened by accident?
Yes, it did. So, so when I left school, I was looking for a job. I was doing anything I could find to help my mom. And so I became an actor.
Who's now late?
Yeah, she's now late. But there was a model, Onaivi Akerele around my neighborhood. He was then Mr. Big. He was some sort of supermodel at the time. And so he introduced me to modeling. And then while I was a model, another friend of mine was going for a movie audition.
Casting,
and so I went with her. She didn't get the part. She encouraged me to go in and try. And so that was it. That's how I got the part. And that was my beginning and my foray into acting.
But, I mean, you've done it for 20-something years. We did 20 years 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so
it was 22 years now.
And, okay, now you say you turned 40. You said, I've done this, I've done that. Now I want to accelerate. I choose to use the word accelerate because it's like you said you are now on gear 4.0 and gear 4 is,
So pretty much there's so many things I've wanted to do that, having children, having a home, and I've always done everything I wanted to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you can't do it to your satisfaction because you have other responsibilities and you're carrying so many things.
But being a mother was important for you.
It was extremely important, and they were growing up. I didn't leave my work for them. I don't ever, advocate for people to leave their work because of children or for marriage. I say to women, you can do it all. You really can. So don't be lazy. I know it's not easy, but you can. So don't leave anyone for any. It might slow you down a little bit, but you can do it anyway.
You down? You gave up a few things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they slowed me down, quite honestly, because sometimes I'll be on set and I'm 9 months pregnant. When I did Samadora, I was 9 months pregnant. So I don't think they slowed me down. And when I did Daybreak, I mean, my baby I just left the hospital. I think a week. And I went to set. So I'm not going to say my kids slowed me down. But naturally, I mean, I'm sure there were some things I probably would have done if I was single or if I didn't have children more, you know, so than when I had my family. But having said that, you know, so now that the kids are adults and they're teenagers and they're doing their own thing, I just feel like it is time. I've come into that space where I can concentrate even more on myself.
So, I mean, the whole essence of Omotola, I was at that symposium, and I think what I took away was the kind of crowd you were able to pull together to begin to talk about serious things. That is one thing that you cannot equate. Omotola is an actress. To put it together and say, well, she's actually serious. But I'll take a break. And when I return, I'm going to discuss that serious side of Omotola that a lot of people don't even realize exists. We'll be right back.